Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It is a beautiful but cold morning, January 20th, 2022. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time. We talk about success stories, strategy, tips, solve problems, and so forth. Yesterday, we had a really good training where we made the introduction of the new delegated mentoring program. And it's intended for those of you that are white label partners that would rather hand off and have someone else take care of the client mentoring, as well as the client billing and collections. So today we're going to talk about the opposite side of that. What if you don't want to delegate it? What if you want to do it yourself? I had a number of you ask for kind of a refresher, and so that's what we're going to go through briefly today. It's only going to take me a few minutes to go through this, and then we'll answer your questions and wrap up early. All right, so our topic today should be shown on your screen as White Label Partner Mentoring Overview. That's on the left. On the right-hand side, we're on the White Label page at iimfl.org. Why are we on this page? Because this is our resource page where, of course, you can sign up as a White Label partner. You can watch the YouTube training videos, what we call the training library. But as we scroll down beneath those, that's of course where you submit your clients. And then ultimately we get down to the white label partner resources, including the modules, which ties to our topic today. Okay, so let's read this first paragraph together. Once an access to capital client has paid you, or that at least they've set up financing for the refundable deposit, you or a delegate should mentor the client through the 4 modules and prepare the loan package documents. That's what we're going to be reviewing today. Now, there's the resource site, and again, that's what we're looking at over here. So you need to be familiar with the resource site. If you've not taken the time to go through all of these training modules, then you're probably not going to be as confident or competent to work with clients. But let's assume that you've done that. So now we're going to get into the modules. 4 modules. When we started this, by the way, there were 10 modules, 10 steps, but we've reduced it down to 4. So the design of the Access to Capital program is to improve the client's financial literacy by progressing through 4 modules whereby they learn a topic and then they implement that topic for their business. So you can see Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4. We use an award-winning curriculum developed by the FDIC and promoted by the SBA. Each module includes a white label version of the PowerPoint. So if we go to Module 1, here is the PowerPoint. Module 2, here's the PowerPoint. So this is in white label format, so it's suitable for you to share directly. We also have a participant's guide and an instructor's guide for each of the modules. You're going to find those here on this link. Now, we changed the titles up a little bit, so just so we don't get confused, what we call business planning, when you go to the resource site there, it's called Planning for Healthy Business. What we call credit, they call Strong Business Credit. What we call financial management, they call financial management, there's a match. And what we call banking and money, they call banking services. When you go on to the FDIC site, you'll be able to find the instructor guides, which I mentioned, the participant guides, and frankly, even you'll find that the raw editable PowerPoints, but to make it simpler for you, we have already created a YouTube version that's ready to plug and play. So as the mentor, as the white label partner, you're responsible for the financial literacy and helping clients go through this to build their loan package. I'll describe that more in a moment. If you want to delegate it to us, delegate it to us. If you want to have other staff or other resources, that's up to you. But the word delegation means it's still ultimately your responsibility. But if you don't personally want to do it, you don't have to personally do it. We talk about the analogy all the time. If you and I were to go open a franchise of Domino's Pizza, we wouldn't expect that it would be just you and I cooking the pizza, running the register, delivering. Often an organization has other people that can either be employees of yours or contractors. And again, we're more than happy to do this mentoring. And under the new delegation package, you don't have any upfront cost for that. But if you're going to do the mentoring, it's up to you to determine how much time you want to spend on each of these modules and how deep you want to get into it. It's up to you. Some of you may pull together people as groups. Joseph, one of our top white label partners out of Arkansas, he likes, I believe, to group people together. So all of his clients starting this week are in a cohort. So he runs them through as a cohort. Others of you do one-on-one. Others are kind of passive, just providing the links and leaving it to the client. That is up to you. Please note there is also a trainer instructor guide on this link if you want to go through it. What's really important, not that the rest isn't important, but what's especially important is that we need to eventually get to the point where you're helping the client get the relevant documents into the Dropbox folder that we provide for them. And we'll provide that to you technically, and then you'll help them upload it. You could upload it or have them upload it. So in general, each week there's a topic. They should have certain, they have certain learning objectives, and then ultimately we're applying that to their business with the deliverable. So learning objectives, deliverables, learning objectives, deliverable, learning objectives, and then the capstone here is module 4. Now, is it all or nothing on these items? Of course not. Not all clients will have all these things. We don't know what each client has in the beginning. So this is the ideal list. The more, the better, but it's not all or nothing. So as I wrap it up here on this agenda, ultimately you need to help the client prepare and populate the loan package documents in the Dropbox folder. So I'm going to open it up. What questions do you have? Because to me, it's pretty straightforward and simple. If you've not gone through this information, then maybe it's foreign to you, but you don't need me to read this to you. I'm sure that you can read it at your own convenience. If you've not watched each of the YouTube videos for each of the modules, you need to do that. If you've not gone over to the FDIC site and gotten familiar with the instructor guides and participant guides, you need to do that. If you delegate to us, here's our game plan. We're going to run them through one module a week. We have it set up on automation, so each week they'll get the module, they'll get the YouTube, they'll get the participant guide, and then it's a systematic way where we go through one module a week. From your perspective, if you're not delegating, if you're doing it yourself, you can do it quicker or slower. It's up to you. It's up to you. But several of you asked to have a recap of this mentoring, of these mentoring resources. So that's what we're here today. So who has questions, comments, concerns about mentoring? All right, Timothy's asking about the delegated mentoring program that we introduced yesterday. So we're still wrapping up all those details. We're optimistic that we'll be ready to go live by Monday. So if you want to, and there's no upfront cost as we covered yesterday. So if you want us to do the mentoring of your clients as well as the billing and collecting if whether they are willingly to pay or if we have to go through litigation, you can outsource all that to us. We'll start that Monday. That will only be for new clients going forward. In fact, there'll be a change to the submission form. So when you submit each client, there'll be a new option here where you can let us know if you're wanting to delegate wanting us to do the delegated mentoring or not, so we know as you submit each client. So it won't have to be for all of your clients, but it won't be retroactive. So those details are forthcoming. We announced it yesterday. The response is very positive. We're working on that. All right, so Marcelo's asking a couple other questions. So once the client has paid you the refundable deposit, or at least set up the financing for it, which we mentioned up here, then we will send a white label client onboarding email to you, Marcelo. It'll have the client's name, the client's email. It'll have their live plan link, which ties to module 1. And then you'll also receive their Dropbox link. So we send the white label client onboarding email to each of you once the client has either paid you the deposit or at least set up financing. So Marcelo, that is the answer to the question. Mr. Rich asked, when you send the Dropbox email, do you send that to the client? Well, that's a great question. It's up to you. So it depends upon how much involvement you want to have. You could just give them the Dropbox link, or you could retain the Dropbox link, have them submit these documents to you, you review them, and you upload them. So you're providing additional value. Now, once you have uploaded all that the client has, you need to let us know. Just send a quick email and let us know, okay, we're ready to move forward. We're notified as each file is uploaded, but we don't know when you're complete with that process. In other words, there's nothing else for them to upload, and then we'll review it. We tend to look at the Dropbox once all the documents that they have are uploaded, because it's like putting a puzzle together. And if we don't have all the pieces, it's very difficult for us to know where the capital raise will come from, and is what we have good enough based upon where we're going, or are there some important pieces missing? So in other words, you'll get the Dropbox and the live plan at the front end, Mr. Rich. You can work with them on these modules to the extent that you want to, but the end goal is, whether it be you or them, we need to get these documents populated in the Dropbox folder. Okay. And again, a number of you had questions, and any questions good. I don't know what your questions are, so I need you to ask the questions. Otherwise, I'm going to assume we're all on the same page, that we understand what we need to do. You'll find that there's not specific step-by-step instructions, because it's up to you how in-depth you want to be on the mentoring. It's up to you. Do you want to go through a module a week, a module a day? Do you want to knock out all 4 modules with the client in one day to accelerate it? That is up to you. Again, if you want to delegate it to us, we've got the system in place. You can just focus on generating clients, but I know that some of you enjoy the client education and client mentoring. So that's why we're having this discussion today. Who has any questions, comments, or concerns about this? Joseph brings up a good point. So since each white label partner has the freedom to mentor as they want, not all client experiences will be the same. And we're not a franchise model. We don't dictate specifically what you need to do for each module and how much time you need to spend. So this is a white label program with more autonomy. And so it's up to you how in depth you want to go through. Mr. Rich asked about live plan. Of course, the client should be doing live plan, and that's why we spent over $10,000. No, not over. We spent $10,000 on the dot on live plan this month alone. So for every time a client is submitted, you submit them on the white label client submission form, we're buying a live plan license. We provide that to you, and that's part of what I mentioned to you, is that once they have either paid you the deposit or at least set up financing, you're going to get the white label client onboarding with their name, email, live plan link, and Dropbox link. So of course they should be doing live plan, and that's discussed in module 1. David asks, when we get the completed Dropbox, do you go through? Yeah. Once you alert us, David, that the client's Dropbox is as populated as the client can or will do, then we review it. Because let's go to business plans for a second. The truth is, some sources of capital don't ask for a business plan at all. Some ask for very simplistic, others ask for great detail. We don't want the client necessarily to have to do more work than necessary to get to the accomplished goal of funding, But until we have enough of the pieces, we don't really know if what they have is good enough or not. You can be as involved or as uninvolved as you want to be on their live plan. What you do need to make sure of is at least it clearly states the amount of funding that they're looking for and how they're going to use it. It's a fool that would think, oh, I can just say, I want 100,000, that's fine, and just loan me 100,000. Well, no, we need to understand how much do you need specifically. It's rarely that round of a number, and what are you going to use it for? Because those details matter in where the financing should come from. For instance, are they looking for real estate, working capital, equipment financing, so forth? All right, so Marcelo says, so so for current clients, you can either do your own mentoring or our staff can do it for you. The flat fee for that is $250 a client, but we're soon switching out of that. And then as of Monday, we anticipate being ready to go with the delegated mentoring, which will have no upfront cost. Instead, we'll just split the refundable deposit. You'll keep the full half of the performance fee, and we'll go from there. All right, so I've got all the questions answered. Are there any other questions? Because I know there's a lot more to go into, but that's what you need to do, quite frankly. If you've not gone through all these training modules, you should do it, right? This is an opportunity to help people. We should be helping, on average, one person a day, at least 8 a month. If you're helping 8 a month, and if you're generating gross income of $12,500, that's a $100,000 a month side gig. So yes, it's going to take some time to go through the training videos and to get familiar with the 4 modules. If you just don't want to be involved with that, that's fine. That's why we're rolling out the delegated mentoring. So you frankly don't have to worry about any of that. All you would do is submit the clients and we'll take it from there. But that's forthcoming, and we'll formally announce that once it's ready to go. So what I would ask you to do is make sure that you're familiar with this information if you're going to do the mentoring. I have one of you that came to us yesterday and said, hey, I've got 40 clients I need to do something with. And it's like, oh my gosh, you are the white label partner. You need to be doing this, or you need to outsource it. But to sign up a bunch of clients and then to not help them through this process is really shortchanging them. They're not building financial literacy. It sounds like they're not building their loan package. I can't imagine those clients are going to be very happy. So please be responsible for what you promise to do as a white label partner, or delegate the responsibilities if you just don't want to do it. It's okay. So that's what we have to cover. Anyone else have any questions before we end? So your call to action here is to make sure that you have gone, well, went to the wrong page, that you've gone to the white label page. If I can scroll up to it, there we go, that you've gone through these videos and that you're familiar with the processes and information here at the bottom. That's what you need to do. All right, well, we'll see you back tomorrow morning. Thank you so much. Let us know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.